It's a case that's left the Opelika community with questions for 6 years.
We need to find out her name, we need to give her a proper burial, and we need to settle this case.
Who is baby Jane Doe and who is responsible for her death?
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to GrayDays TV, and today I'm going to be talking about the Opelika Jane Doe. On January 28, 2012, a young boy who was playing behind his mother's house discovered a child's skull. The skull was located in Lot 47 of Brookhaven Trailer Park in Opelika, Alabama, the same area where a few months earlier in late 2011, residents noticed a decaying smell. 911 was called shortly after, and authorities arrived almost immediately to begin investigating. And on January 30th of 2012, after a few more days of searching the surrounding areas, authorities were able to find a few more remains, approximately 50 to 75 feet away from where the skull was found. And these remains included a lower jawbone and a small amount of hair, as well as other bones and bone fragments. A long-sleeved pink shirt was also found about 50 feet away from where the remains were found, and it is believed that that pink shirt belonged to the child. So after making this horrific discovery, police almost immediately got the FBI involved in this case. They also started canvassing the neighborhood, contacting local schools, and they even reached out to the Department of Child Services, but it was all to no avail. And without any leads or missing children reports that could possibly match the young girl, the FBI began to create an image of what the young girl might have looked like in a hope to get more leads. The medical examiner also later determined that the child was an African American female, and her death was ruled a homicide, although the cause of her death was never revealed. She was also estimated to be between 4 to 7 years old, but due to the state of decomposition that her body was found in, her eye color, her height, and her weight were unable to be determined. The medical examiner also estimated that she had been deceased for about 8 months to 2 years, placing her death between 2010 and 2012. And a later assessment done by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children found that she was more than likely extremely malnourished during her life due to neglect, and that in her short life she more than likely suffered from abuse. Tests also showed the child had extensive bone injuries and damage in her left eye, but it isn't clear how those bone injuries were acquired. But unfortunately, police were still not able to identify the child, and no one had come forward with any new information. That was until 2016, when after releasing new facial reconstruction images, Opelika Police Department received their biggest lead since Jane Doe's remains were discovered.
On January 28, 2012, the body of a young black female, believed to be between 3 and 6 years old, was found in a wooded area in Opelika, Alabama. Since that time, the Opelika Police Department has been searching for her identity. Last summer, law enforcement received a tip based on a composite sketch created by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. That tip suggested that Jane Doe may have been this girl. These photos were taken at an Alabama vacation Bible school in 2011, but nobody remembers who this child was.
Police received 3 photos of a child who looked almost exactly like Opelika Jane Doe from an Alabama woman. The photos were taken in the summer of 2011 by a woman who was teaching at a vacation Bible school at Greater Peace Church in Opelika. According to the teacher, the child had an unkempt appearance and had trouble communicating with the other kids, which reinforced the investigators' belief that the Jane Doe was sheltered for most of her life and didn't get out too much. The girl pictured, like Jane Doe, also had a deformity in her left eye and may have even been blind in that eye. But unfortunately for investigators, the Alabama woman could not remember the little girl's name. And any attempt to identify the child through school records, employees, churchgoers, or vacation Bible school members has been unsuccessful. And to this day, the girl pictured has not been identified, leading many to believe that her and the Opelika Jane Doe are the same person. 1 year later, in 2017, an isotope test revealed that Jane Doe lived in the southeastern part of the United States for the majority of her life, likely in Alabama or one of the surrounding states, which solidified investigators' beliefs that the person who committed this horrible crime more than likely lived in Opelika, Alabama, at least at that time. With one investigator saying that the location that the remains were found in is a location that only a resident of Opelika, Alabama would know about, and that there was no way that an outsider would just happen upon that location. And I want everyone to keep in mind that Opelika, Alabama isn't a large city. So the fact that no one in the community recognizes this child, and that no one has come forward with any information, leads many to believe that the people who did this were probably transient, and they definitely kept that child out of public eye. Her parents more than likely moved to Opelika, Alabama for a short amount of time. They probably didn't know anyone else in that area, and they probably left shortly after this incident occurred. And it's very unfortunate that there is so little information about this child. But despite that fact, by all accounts, the police in Opelika, Alabama are still working very hard on this case. And they are currently offering a $20,000 reward for anyone with information that leads to the identification of the Opelika Jane Doe. With even the mayor of Opelika stating, "It's difficult for me to believe that no one has come forward about this little girl. We don't know where the child was from or how she came to be in the location where she was found. To say the least, it has been a gut-wrenching case for the fine officers of the Opelika Police Department. We are certainly not giving up, and hopefully one day someone will share information that will help solve this." And we have to remember that finding out who Jane is only the first step in solving this case. It's a very big step, but it's only the first step. And hopefully when they are able to find out who she is, they're able to find out who did this to her. And like I do with all missing person cases that I do on this channel, information on who to contact if you have any information on this case will be on the screen, and it'll be in the description down below. So if you do have any information, anything that could be helpful to the authorities, please contact one of these numbers that you're seeing either on the screen or in the description. But that is all I have to say about this case. Hopefully one day this case is solved and we do find out who exactly the Opelika Jane Doe is, and I hope she gets justice for the horrible crime that happened to her. There is very little information and there is a lot of unknowns about this case, but hopefully just getting it out there for more people to see it and know about it, hopefully that does bring a new light to this case. So like always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I hope you guys continue to have a great day, great week, great month, great year. And like always, I will catch you next video.